Hey, hi guys, Merty here from Merty's Bushcraft and Self-Reliance. This video is a video response to Zed Outdoors, and Zed he reached I think 1,000 subscribers, and he put on a video with a giveaway contest, and what he asked to do is to make a video about the 3 most important life lessons you've learned. It's not easy, not that I haven't learned anything in life, but I've learned so many things that it was difficult to choose. And second, it's also difficult to tell your story, a personal story, on video and put it on the internet. And well, I've been thinking about it for several days, and I selected 3 lessons, 3 experiences that I want to share with you guys. First, I have to tell you some background stories, and because my life hasn't always been very easy, many things, bad things happened, and I just show you a tip of the iceberg. I have to go back for about 20 years or so, and I met 2 guys downtown, and I thought they were going to be good friends maybe, and I invited them over to my place to have a cup of coffee. And when they were at my place, they asked me, oh Matty, could you please give us a ride to another guy, because he owes us money, we sold him something, and we need to get the money. I said, okay, hop in the car, I'll bring you there. Once we arrived, they asked me to get in, to join them for a cup of coffee. And after 5-10 minutes, there were detectives, police detectives at the door, and they arrested those 2 guys. And they also asked me to come with them, because they wanted to ask me some questions. At the police station, I was officially arrested, and I didn't know what for. I spent in jail at the police station for 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights, and it took that long to find out that I was really innocent. I had nothing to do with the crime those guys committed. Those guys stole a car and sold it to someone else, and the detectives who were on a hideout in the street, they saw me arriving with those guys and going upstairs to the buyer's apartment. So for them it was logical to assume that I would be one of the car thieves. Well, after 3 days, they released me, and I went back to the street where I parked my own car, and I found that my car was stolen. That was the second thing that happened in just a short time. It's kind of a Murphy's Law, because I went home by public transport, and when I opened my I didn't have to open my front door, it was already open. The locks and the door frame, everything was broken. And when I stepped into my apartment was completely empty. And when I say empty, it's really empty. Even in the bathroom, my toothbrush and everything was missing. There was nothing left. And course, I reported it to the police, and I called the insurance company. And for them it was a very odd situation, because normally when they break into an apartment, they will steal the valuable things, but not everything. So they had to investigate it, and that took several months. And what I had to do is buying the first things you need in life. New clothes, new underwear, toothpaste, well, just basic stuff, but altogether it's a fortune. And I took more money from the bank than I could afford. The result of that was that I couldn't pay my rent and my electricity and gas bill. After 2 months, they cut me off from gas and electricity. And it was in the middle of the winter. And, well, it was very cold, of course. I remember on New Year's Eve, I was sitting in my living room on the floor with only a candle, no heating, nothing warm to eat or drink. That was it. It's, yeah, that's a moment in which you really feel sad. I couldn't get any money from the bank anymore, so I also had a food problem. And well, for me it was a kind of survival situation in which I had to collect food from the park, find edible plants and things like that. Never expected to be in a survival situation at home. I mean, what we're talking about, it's really crazy stuff. 1 month later, I got a letter that the house owner wanted to throw me out of my apartment, and I had a date on which I had to stand in court, and then the day after they would throw me on the streets. Then I remember the day, just the day before I had to go to court. I opened my mailbox and found a letter from the insurance company, and that they paid me the money. Maybe you wonder why the insurance company paid that late. Well, the reason is that in a normal situation, when they break in, they will steal the valuable things like television, stereo equipment, things like that. But it very rarely happens that they steal everything, including personal belongings like underwear and toothbrush. It's so that they had to investigate it. Well, I got that letter and I went to the bank. I asked if the money arrived, which did arrive. I drew all the money. I took a taxi to the house owner, and I paid everything in cash, a few thousand euros, guilders in that time. I paid my electricity bill, paid my other bills, and everything went slowly back to normal. But it was a dreadful situation that lasted a few months. 2 years later, I was involved at the airplane crash in Amsterdam. El Al jumbo cargo plane crashed on an apartment building in the southeast part of Amsterdam, and I lived very close to that place, and I was a volunteer in the rescue first aid and things for about 48 hours. The year after, so every time there's about a year in between, I had to go to hospital for surgery, and while I was on sick leave, I went to see my mother, who lived in the south of Holland, and she hadn't told me that she was very, very sick, and she was even dying. Thanks to the fact that I was on sick leave, I was able to take care of her, to nurse her, do everything until the day she died. And then also I took care of the funeral, etc. I'm really happy I could do that for her after all she did for me. But since then I'm missing the most important person in life. Then another year later, I came from my scout troop, and I was robbed in the park. 4 guys, they threw me off my bike, put a loaded gun on my head, and they took everything from me. For me, the most important thing they took is the picture of my deceased mother. I had a small photo in my wallet, and I really hate those guys for that, because that was for me the most important thing. But also my identity card, my bank card, everything was stolen. To get money from the bank, I needed an identity card, which I hadn't. To get a new identity card, I needed money, which I also had not. And luckily some friends borrowed me money, so I could get my card and afterwards get money. But it's also a terrible period, terrible experience. I only mentioned 3 things, or 3 occasions. The first occasion there were 3 things that happened, and then 2 more. And that's where I learned some lessons. One lesson is that when you're really in trouble, you find out who your real friends are. And because when everything is going all right, you have plenty of friends. But when you are really in deep shit, only a few friends are left, and those are your real friends. And one thing is, never expect anything in return from a friend, because maybe he's not able to give anything in return. At least in my situation, I wasn't able to really give something in return for everything they did for me. And never put things on a scale in friendship. And maybe you know the situation on a birthday party. You give someone a present of, let's say, 50 euros, and when you are having your birthday, he feels like he has to give something of at least 50 euros or more like you have to put things on a scale and should be in balance. Oh, friendship is not about that. That don't expect anything in return. Give to your friends, give to anyone else, and that's it. And when you receive things, maybe it's enough to show your gratitude by helping someone else who's in need and who's crossing your path and you meet in life. That will be enough, and real friends will accept that. That's okay for them. They don't expect anything from you as well. That's one lesson. A second lesson is always stay friends. And sometimes it can happen that you don't see a friend for months, years even, or maybe decades, which happened to me. And what we say in Holland is out of sight is out of heart. But out of sight, okay, but don't let anyone go out of your heart. Even if you don't see your friends for a very long time, keep them in your heart, and always keep your doors open, that when they show up, that they feel welcome. And even after years you can go on like there wasn't a gap in between. And that's real friendship. And that's also what I've learned. And that's life sometimes. Sometimes you lose contact for a period. And you can't blame anyone. And then the third lesson. I told you what my history is just the tip of the iceberg. I went through many more problems in life. And I found out that when a door closes in front of you and you think there's no escape from that situation in which you are, maybe 10 other doors open. Only you have to find out where they are and what they mean. And you have to do something to find it. And you must dare to take steps. Don't just depend on others. Take your own steps and you will find open doors. And you find people who are willing to help you, give you a hand and lead you further on through one of those open doors. Well, that's my final lesson. And I'm now sitting at a friend's place and I'm invited for dinner. I just saw that I have to come inside, dinner is ready. So I say goodbye to you. Thank you for letting me sharing my lessons and just a part of my life experience, and hope to see you soon, back soon. And don't forget to comment and subscribe. Okay, bye guys.